Woo! Why, hello there. A couple of days ago, I released a video talking about not stealing people's morphs, and I saw some of you were stealing people's morphs anyways in the comments. And then some of you were also saying, like, I don't know how to make my own morphs. I'm bad at making my own morphs. So I am going to try and tell you what I do and how I make my morphs. And so maybe you can take some inspiration from me and you can learn to make your own morphs, because copying is bad. Okay, so the first thing I usually do when I'm making a morph is obviously I have a vision for it. And for this, you have like a name idea that you want to make a cat based after. That's usually how I come up with some of my morphs. Or you could look online for cat breeds. That's how I made Fragaria a while ago. I looked online and I found a cute cat breed and tried to recreate it. So once you have your idea down, you're gonna go into head, and what I usually like to add first is the cheeks, because they look good. Eye markings, forehead diamond. You don't have to add forehead diamond. Muzzle pads can be either way. Like, for example, for Fragaria Skip, I don't have the muzzle pads on her, but that's because her coloring is different from what I usually do. See how she doesn't have like a lighter underside or anything, so she doesn't have the muzzle pads. But like, let's say, for Flare Paw, you can see she does have, hold on. I'm always finding errors with Flare Paw. Anyways, I have the muzzle pads on here for her because she has a white underside and a different color up here. So usually that's how I like to do it. I like this part being the underside color, if that makes any sense. For under eye markings, I usually do it so when a cat is more shy, they have the round ones, and when a cat is more serious, no, that's the wrong thing. They're gonna have, oh my gosh. They're gonna have these ones, the under eye markings, just not round. That's like if they're more serious or not. That's usually what I do. And then I usually always also add face mask and face stripes. I just really like how it looks on the cat. So now that we have the face ready, we're gonna start coloring it. And I usually color first, then move on to the rest of the markings after I have the face, but you obviously can do this in any order that you'd like. So this cat's kind of like a dark brown. This maybe? It's a little too dark. We're gonna start with the face. Now this is a good example because sometimes you wanna have dark colored morphs, but you can't, like the way I do it is I usually have it go dark and then very dark, and then this part is the lighter part. But for this cat, the primary color is already really dark, so we have to do a little bit of improvisation. I think this could be a good testing it out. Nope. Okay, a good test out to see how it would look if it's the opposite way around. Yeah, this doesn't look bad at all. So you can sometimes improvise, but on like a lighter cat, like maybe, let's see, maybe like an orange cat, like for Sunstar, I usually have it go darker colors instead of it being lighter on this part. But now that we have that part colored, we have to find the undercolor part. And I usually like to use these three colorings. Depending on like the type of cat, or just like, again, what their mood is. I feel like their mood determines a lot for how they look for me. You can decide, I don't want it to be like strictly gray or anything, or white, because I feel like it pops a little too much for my liking. And so you can go like that. You can do the coloring like this. Nope, that's the eyeball. If you don't like how that feels, like I'm not really feeling this cream color, you can always just try and mess around with the other types of colors in the color palette and see what you like. So I really like how this looks right now, but I don't really like that forehead stripe, so I think I'm gonna change it to this. Nope, that's the eyeball again, my bad guys. I'm gonna change it to this. And yeah, so this cat kind of has a theme going on of where it goes lighter in the middle of the head, which just kind of happened on its own. You'll find that a lot of stuff just starts happening on its own when you're making morphs, because you kind of just, like, trust the process. Don't think at the start like, oh, this is really bad, I want to give up, because I used to think that a lot, and I was not very confident when making morphs, so I just kind of quit the game. But you just have to trust the process, because the more you add, the better it'll look, and I usually find that it starts looking better when I add fur, but that's why we do the fur last. So now that we have the face done, I guess I can do the eyes now. I feel like this cat, what does the picture have? Green eyes, okay. It's a little too bright. Yeah, that doesn't look half bad. Okay, so now that we have this done, oh, and last thing very quickly about adding stuff to the head. I like adding nostrils. Looks nice. Okay, next thing is we're going to be adding I usually always add the ombre effect. Umbre paw, sorry. So I go into torso and I click cape. That's the first one. Then I go to single body stripe, and I also put that on. And for this one, I'm gonna use a reference from the head colors. So I'm just gonna, well, at first I'm gonna color this, the primary color. Now we have the ombre thing, I don't know how to pronounce it. And so now that we have that, we are going to add the markings now. Okay, now that we have this lovely, beautiful part finished, we are going to go ahead and we're gonna start adding in the markings. So for this cat, I'm kind of looking at the reference picture, and they have the stripes. So stripes are pretty easy to do. I'm gonna do, I don't know if I want to do solid dark. I don't know if I want to do solid black. That might be a little bit too, I mean, that doesn't look that bad. Sometimes I usually don't use like solid white or solid black because it just doesn't blend well with the morph, but I think this is a good case. We can definitely use it here because of the morph's darker colors. Looks like Tiger Star. Wait a minute. Did I just make Tiger Star on accident? Whatever, we don't talk about it. We don't talk about that. He doesn't have the amber eyes. Okay. So now that we have the markings done, let me close that. Now I think, well, I want to color the skin next. I usually do fur and accessories last, just to make sure everything looks good without it. Yeah, that looks nice. I'm gonna color the paws that. The ears, I'll try that and then add some inner ear fur and we'll see how that looks. So now we're ready to move on to fur. I do accessories last. This cat in the picture is a short hair, so I'm not gonna be adding too much fur to this cat, but I will start with the ears actually, that might be better. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do inner ear fur, but do not worry. Oh, also I forgot to mention, this is without game passes. This is no game passes here at all. Except for that ear fur, so I'm gonna take that out. So you can do the wispy inner ear fur if you don't have the other game pass, and just color it the same color as the underside, the creamy color or whatever color you pick. I'm not really liking how the ears contrast with that, so I think I'm gonna try and do a darker shade of pink for the ears. Yeah, okay, I like how that looks. I'm gonna add some torn ears because he's been through some stuff. You can obviously add some extra detail to the ears. I usually do that when I'm really invested in the morph. So I'm gonna put on everything that does not have a game pass. Ow, I just hit my ankle. I'm gonna do, what are tip ear speckles? Oh yeah, he's unique like that, guys. Then I'm gonna add, I know they're, here, back ear spot. I really like the back ear spot. I'm gonna give the back side of the ear a little umbra too. And then make that light. There, so we have that. Next is the next of the fur. I'm locked in right now, guys. Okay, I really like adding the throat fur. Even if they're short hair, it just gives them a little bit more. And I add the neck fur too. If they're a nervous cat, I usually add the back fur just to emphasize that nervousness, but you don't have to do that. It does not matter if you do that or not. So I think, honestly, we need to add, right, I was about to say, oh my gosh, why does the face look like that? And I was like, oh yeah. I really like the outwards head fur if you're doing short hair. If you're doing long hair, I recommend doing the spiky face fur, but also a lot of people do that, and if you want to be unique, you can use the flowy face fur. Here, this one. You can also use this one. It really just depends on what you feel like you want to have. And then I usually always add the top head fur. Why is it gray? There. Because it just gives them a little more spunk, you know? Okay. I think we're done with the fur. I'm leaving the tail as it is because he's a short hair. He does not need a long, floofy, dramatic tail. I really wish I could give him really big ears because he's not really looking like the cat breed. But, you know, that's okay because cat breeds are something you're supposed to build off of. It doesn't have to look exactly like the cat breed that you looked up. It can look like anything you want. And I'm honestly more satisfied with this design than I am with the picture that I was using as a reference. I usually like to start with ear accessories. So, for this one, I'm gonna use, I feel like he is kind of nature-y. And this also helps like you develop their name and stuff. So I'm gonna use the Chiquita wings. So I'm gonna use the bug wings. I don't know how to pronounce that word. After that, you can always add more, of course, as long as it's not like too much. You don't want to overdo it with your cat, of course, or else then it will look a little, you know. Bam. Okay. I add soles on, and sometimes I'll do like an ombre with the toes. So I'll try that with the toes. So I go dark, dark. I like to have it go dark from the inside, out, lighter to the outside. And then I usually have like a little thing right there. I like to think of it as like if they're wearing shoes. Like I know that's kind of silly to say, but like the sole is the bottom of their shoe, and then this part is like the little, like, you know, on the Mary Jane shoes, they have like that little buckle thing. I personally like that myself, but obviously it's different for everyone. I just like how it adds to my morph when I put that on. Okay, I'm really liking how this is looking so far. I honestly don't think this cat needs any warmers or socks or anything, but I do know that you can style this. Like I could go, I usually like to color it the color of the, like color the accessories the color of the markings. Just helps it blend in better, but obviously if it's like Fragaria, like none of her markings are pink. So it honestly just depends on what you're feeling for the cat. Like maybe I could change this color to be his eye color, or something like that. Make it light, make him have like a lighter tone. I was gonna say we could put this vine and rock necklace, but then I realized that that's a game pass, so I took it off. But now I'm looking and there's nothing else that really matches him, so I guess he's not gonna have a neck accessory. But what I was saying earlier was that I like to keep all the accessories the same color because it just makes everything look more neat. Oh, and we can't forget the most important part. We can never forget the eyelids. So yeah, I think this is the finished result of a completely free morph. Wait, I forgot one thing that's very, very important. You can't forget it. Color the whiskers. For darker morphs, color them darker colors, and for lighter morphs, color them lighter colors. It took me a very long time to learn that, and I also do have something to say about scars. If you want to add a scar, I'll do the front leg scar here. You can color them down here. Personally, for me, for the longest time, I could not figure out how to color the scars. But now I know how to color them, so if anyone doesn't know, now you know too. So anyways, don't think after this video you're gonna be a pro at making morphs. That's just impossible. I used to watch countless morph videos talking about how to make morphs. I really don't like this shading. You know what? We're going to Wind Clan. You're a Wind Clan cat. Can. Anyways, you're not gonna be pro for a very long time, and that's okay. I was not pro for a very long time. I joined in 2021, and I actually quit because I could not make a good morph. But then I just came back and I started trying and practicing, and it's gonna take a while and it's gonna feel tiring and you're gonna wanna steal people's morphs. But that's just not the way to go. The best thing to do is to just learn and practice and do your best. So yeah, that is how I make my morphs. I'm hoping some of these tips help you. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Oh, well, hello there! It appears you have indeed made it to the end of my video. So, I hope you enjoyed the video, and here's some recommended videos, my most recent video, and my best recommended for you video. And I don't know how many times I've said video in a sentence, but I have said it a lot. So anyways, I'm gonna stop yapping now. Bye guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.